Cinema opened on the 2nd of September 1939, and due to the outbreak of the Second World War, it closed on the same day. So to my knowledge, if you look at records, we're the only cinema that opened and closed on its first day. In 1943, it became an Odeon, and it was an Odeon for quite a substantial amount of time. I remember it from when it was the Classic and the Canon, and then Apollo took over, and they decided that they made the statement, we're going to spend £750,000. But state of the art, is going to do this, they're going to do that, renew the seats and everything. But really they did nothing at all. I started here in 1999. I used to work for Royal Mail from 1979 to 2011, and then took voluntary redundancy. I also am a governor at a local school, a special needs school in Newfield, and also I'm a magistrate at Bootle Courts. I've been here 22 years, and my colleague Jan will tell you that it's an obsession with me. It's an obsession with her as well. And you know, all the things we've done for the Plaza have always been for the best interests. We've done loads of work on it, you know, new roof, doing stuff at the moment to try and make the place look a bit tidier.
So this is the foyer of the Plaza. Doesn't normally look quite as dishevelled as it does now. But unfortunately, COVID has happened, and so we are closed. But we're taking this time to really invest in the building and, you know, make some changes to improve the look. Paint, stock, fixing any cracks and things that you can't do when we're normally open, because we run almost all year. So what time do you have to do some of these major works? So I suppose in that sense it's been useful.
So what happened was, after Apollo decided to close, Paul Culshaw had already got involved, and he got 10,000 signatures with the help of Janet Dunn and other people. And we were worried about how we would get the cinema reopened again. So we asked for loads of people to help us, and loads of people came and helped us. Loads of people were painting the place and getting everything ready, and all the seats had to be recovered and everything. And if you look at pictures that we've got in our history books, you'll see pictures of the seats all in disrepair. We planned to open on the 18th of July 1997, and we needed a film. So obviously we made contact with a couple of people, and we were told to get in touch with a guy called Sir Sidney Samuelson, who was a British Film Commissioner. So we were told to get in touch with him, and we wanted to show Jurassic Park, which is the big film coming out, and obviously only being a community cinema, no one was really interested in wanting to give us the film. So in them days there was no mobile phones or emails, so we were told to get hold of him when he was on a cruise, and we contacted him, and Jan spoke to him and asked him would it be possible to get us Jurassic Park. So he said, yeah, write me a letter, Jan, and say, dear Sir Sidney. So we did write him a letter. Jan did write him a letter, and we got the film, and that we opened up on the 18th of July 1997 to a queue that was right down Crosby Road, round by the Liver, and down South Road, and that was the start of what was an amazing journey for the cinema. But then it all sort of started going a bit wrong in, say, 2010. The heating system collapsed in 2010. We went into a bit of a deficit of £80,000. The place looked a bit tired. So we were approached by a man called Kieran Owen, who works for Team, which means together everyone achieves more. And he wanted to do something and help the cinema. So he came in 2011 and gave us a Annika Rice makeover sort of thing, as you'd call it, where the place got painted and it was bright. It was, looked tidy, and a new sort of a brighter image of it, and that made people think, oh, what's going on at the Plaza? There's something going on at the Plaza. Let's go and have a look. And that's where everything changed, and that was the catalyst for the changes of the Plaza from 1997 up to then. We did okay, but from 2011 it reignited the Plaza. We started to pick up and going from 57,000 people coming in 2010 to 166,000 in 2019. So obviously we're a cinema, and we've been a cinema since 1939. What we also do is there's plenty of things that the cinema does as well. Don't just show film. We have a dementia screening, which used to be every Thursday. Obviously, due to the pandemic, all these things are all on hold. We have a dementia screening, which gives people the opportunity to come in and watch a film, and it brings back memories for them. Whereas they can't remember the actual present, but they can always remember the past.
So this is a Super Lumix X projector. These are running 35mm film, as you can see right here. Originally, there were, I think, 3-meter size wheels that stood right here, 3 of them, and they'd run the film through, and that was designed to take 3 to 4 hours of footage. To your right, we have the NEC NC2000C projector, which is a digital projector. So pretty much everything nowadays runs through this. There are a few minority of films that are still only available on celluloid, but pretty much everything now has been digitized.
Hi, I'm James. I used to work at the Plaza. I worked there for about 3 years, and I first started working there shortly before Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out, so that would have been about 2017. And I spent like the first couple of months just sort of like having to clean up after people, like the screens, being within the screens themselves, to make sure nobody was recording any films that weren't supposed to, and sort of just having to like tear tickets and that type of stuff.
Usually, as you can see behind you, there is a seat specifically for the usher. They can sit here and monitor whatever's going on was inside the organisation. It's a bit small for my bum, if I'm honest.
In 1974, it became the first cinema in Merseyside to have two further screens, because we were only one screen, because we had about 1,400 seats in here, and now it's only 596. And they've got 2 smaller screens, screen 2 and screen 3.
So this is screen number 1. As you can see by the lovely sign at the top, 1939 is the year the cinema opened. 596 seats in here at normal showings. Obviously, social distancing is in force. We have taken the tape off these seats at the moment, basically because we've been cleaning everything, as you do, preparing to reopen. We've been closed now for 3 months. It gets a bit dusty in here. So this is the screen. This is really the centerpiece of the organisation. This is why everyone wants to go. I recommend the 4th row from the front. It's my favourite row. I would say it gives the best viewing for all possible screenings. So there's not many cinemas like the Plaza left anymore. There are only a handful from this era, and certainly having the majesty of what this building is on show is really the key selling point of the organisation. So there is a lot of it's been changed. So the screen is gone. We had to replace that. Obviously, it can only last so long, as well as highly reflective materials that are used nowadays aren't the same as how it used to be on 35mm film. You need very particular equipment to run Dolby Digital like we do now. These curtains were designed in Halifax about, I'd say, 8 years ago. Myself and Martin went to Halifax to have these designed. My only addition to it is the little flick on the end. That wasn't there. That was what I put onto it. But I mean, it's quite interesting to see these laid out on a table, fully laid out. These, not saying we stole the idea, because we didn't. The Plaza Stockport had something quite similar to this, and we thought that this just adds a little bit of pizzazz to the whole sort of show off, because it used to just be the bare red wall at the back. So we've added this to add a little bit more pizzazz to it all. You can see the hieroglyphs, all original at the top, all been lovingly restored by our painters and decorators that we have in, specialists as they all are. So we have tried to keep this as traditional as we possibly can. And as you can see, the only 2 additions are these 2 walls that are right on our sides. That is screen number 2. That is screen number 3. This used to have 1,000 seats in it originally. It's now down to 596. 1,000 seats obviously is far too many people to get in one screen. So we have added these 2 screens because this was originally just a single screen auditorium. So Chris Ginley actually did all the painting inside this place, although part of it have been touched up, Chris, I do apologise. But over time, things do wear down. But Chris is a prime example of what the community is to the Plaza. Without the community, we fail as an organisation. Chris was a fantastic supporter. Unfortunately, he has passed away now. But this is just a little plaque just to say how much we appreciate all of his hard work that he put into the organisation. And it's not just Chris. Last year we lost Phil, who was our maintenance guy. He died tragically as well. And, you know, we've lost so many great people over the years, but they've all left their mark on the organisation and on the community, and that's the most important thing.
I'm Colette Tully. I'm Senior Manager of the Plaza support shop. I was asked to do a day in the shop, so I started doing that, and then when the previous managers left, they were looking for someone to take over, so I said I'd step in for a little bit. This started before the cinema actually started, so yeah, this was the funding that the cinema was getting. So the shop has always been a really important part of the cinema, because the funds that are made here just go straight to the cinema.
I really enjoy working at shop because you never know what you're going to have donated. Every week I go away with something that I never thought I'd find. I bought step ladders, I bought fish blood and bone, I've got an allotment, so I really enjoy it. And the same people come in every week, so you get to know people, and if you know what they're looking for, you can put it aside for them.
It's a work in progress, I suppose. You know, the cinema will survive. I, as the cinema manager, will not let the cinema fall.
So for me, Plaza is more like a family than it is a job. I've been here 18 years now, and I've had staff as young as 13 come and start, and I've watched them transition through school and go to university and come back, and they still have, you know, the same positive feeling towards the organisation. I often feel like I'm sort of the Peter Pan of the place, and I'm here and everyone else grows up and leaves, but I'm still left here. But it's always lovely when they come back, and it reminds me of how close we all are, and you know, the connections that we make over time is so important.
I think the Plaza mainly stands sort of like it's all community run, you know. It's sort of just like everybody there is a volunteer, and then it's all run by the community. I just think it's like just symbol like the sort of the local community, if you will.
I hope the cinema is here and the shop for a long time to come, because it's given me a purpose, and I love the people that I've met, and I hope to carry on.
A real community asset, because we can entertain people at a very reasonable price, and here we can clothe them, and they can, you know, we sell saucepans, we sell furniture, so I feel it's a real community asset.